Correct. What's your requested routing? Let's go amend direct. Departure when ready, clear direct. Dublin, November 180 Bravo Bravo with it. November 180 Bravo Bravo, good afternoon to you. 2000.
Okay, I think we're live now, so we just need to check on that, close that, and refresh. Well, it's certainly saying we're live, but for some reason I can't see what is happening here. There we go, we are live. So first of all, I need to, saying we're live, if anybody's around, I need to find out if you can hear me. Okay, so what is happening here? There we go, we are live. So first just hang on a couple of minutes. If anybody's around, crops up. It is early in the morning here in the UK. So I'm not quite sure what time. There we go, we are live. So just hang on a couple of minutes. It is early in the morning here. Somebody's watching. Good morning, whoever you are. Whoever you are, can you tell me? Can you hear me? Do I sound okay? And then, if I do sound okay, we'll start. We'll start properly. Okay. So can you just let me know? Put a comment in there. Say yes, I can hear you. You sound fantastic, or not. That's the thing to do. Oh, there we go. So what I'm going to do this morning is, I said I wouldn't do it, but I've decided I will, because I've seen some tutorials and they're not very good. The tutorials I've seen about the 747 and the 747-200, and I've seen a few tutorials about cold and dark starts, and they haven't been very good. So I decided that I would do a cold and dark start, and I'm not going to say mine are better, but some that I've seen where there's a tutorial but nobody's talking, so you don't know what's going on. So what I'm going to do is, first of all, I need to go here. I want to make this as simple as possible for people. I'm going to go to mouse and mouse pointers, and I'm going to change my mouse pointer. So I'll browse here, and I'm going to get this one, and hopefully we'll apply that and click OK, and you should now, yes, now you can see my mouse pointer, which is a bit better, isn't it? Right, so you can actually see where it is. Maybe make it a little bit bigger or not. Anyway, we've got 3 people watching now, so if you could please let me know if you can hear me. If everything sounds all right, let me know, okay? That's the most important thing, that sound is coming through okay. I believe it is, we'll see. So anyway, here we are. We're in the 747-200 Classic by Felis, available through the xplane.org store. I did a review of this yesterday, and that review is on my channel, so if you haven't seen that, have a look at that. I go through it briefly. No, not briefly. I go through it. I talk about the aircraft and what I think of it, and what I think of it is that it's fantastic. Still need to find out if you can hear me. Nobody's saying anything. 4 people watching. Please, somebody say if you can hear me okay. Mind you, if there's 4 people watching, then yeah, you can hear me. All right, so let's get back to it. Come on, there we go. So let me get rid of my ugly mug, because you don't need to see me. And I think it's probably that. So we'll turn that off and get the screen back on. There we go. Okay, so the Felis 747-200 Classic, an amazing aircraft, as I've already stated in my review. Got an awful lot going for it, but as I said, I've seen some tutorials and they haven't been very good, because there's just nobody doing anything. They're not telling you what's going on, and they're not explaining things properly. So I thought I would do one today. I just need to get back. Here we go. So it's a very complex aircraft, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to go through it, the cold and dark starts only. Okay, so you need to assume that there's fuel already on board. I've already put fuel on board through the electronic flight bag, and so I'm going to just do a cold and dark start and nothing else. Okay, I've put the highlighter on my mouse so you can see my mouse and where I'm going, and we will be going backwards and forwards between the overhead and the engineering panel. So I'm going to try and do this as slowly as possible so as not to confuse you too much or myself. And these are the four views, the four main views that I'm going to be using. So there's the lower engineering panel, as we see here, the upper engineering panel, the overhead, and the cockpit view. Okay, so those are the four main views. I'm going to turn off the yoke so you can see the panel better. So show hide yokes, this here, click on that, and that hides the yokes. Okay, so we can see a little bit better. Not that this actually matters that much what we're seeing here, but you know, just so it looks better, more aesthetically pleasing to you. All right, so the first thing I need to do, whoops, and I knew I'd go wrong. The first thing I need to do is come over here to the EFB and go to ground, and we need to set the chocks and connect the GPU. Okay, so and connect the GPU. All right. Now, for some reason, and I don't know why, when you do connect the GPU, the sim pauses for a second or two, and I'm not quite sure why that is. Okay. Anyway, so back to the overhead. First thing is we need to put the battery on. So the battery is here. Battery on. Yeah. Then auxiliary power to close. So we need to close this and this. Yep. Then down to this panel here, the KVARs panel, and we want to turn KVARs to normal. Yeah. Quite straightforward so far. But now we go to the overhead. I need to make sure I press the button in the right direction. Here we are. And put the radio masters to on. From there, we need to align the IRS, which is here. Now, in settings, you can have the IRS fast or real. I've got them on fast or instant. So there's instant or real time. I've put them on instant. Not that it makes that much difference. We then go to emergency lights, and we've got to arm the emergency lights. There we go. So to arm them, you click the switch, but you leave the gate open, because if you do that, if you close the gate, they go to on, and they only need to be armed. Then down here, we go to anti-skid and body steering. Anti-skid needs to be on, so close the gate. Body steering needs to be armed, so you open the gate and open the switch. Okay. Now, no smoking and seatbelt signs. Wonderful. And now we go back to the overhead, to the engineering panel, and we select the APU. Now, for this, we first of all go to on, wait for the blue light to disappear, which it is, and now we click down for start. I'll just hold it there for a second. The APU flap will open. The light has gone off. Oops. Well, hang on. I'm not doing very well yet. There we go. Start. Sorry, not down. Start. There we go. And the flap is opened, and you see the EGT on the APU has risen, and that's fine. When it gets to 100% up here, we then open the bleed air. Alright, so once it gets to 100% here, which it has, we can open the bleed air there. Alright, we now go to normal brake source, which is here. and we select sys1. Alright, and then the hydraulic switches to auto. Whoops. So the next one down, the hydraulic switches here, air pump switches to auto. There's 4 of them, and as you turn them on, you see the pressure come up and the blue lights come on. Whoops, there we go. Now we come to the bleed air panel, and we need to put the center bleed air to on, and we need to put the bleed air to the engines. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So now back to the overhead, and this is where it gets really exciting, because now we can actually start the engine. So the start valve here we put to arm, which is across
ready
there.
To start the engines.
And you hear
ready for engine start.
You hear the engineer saying ready for engine start. Okay. Now there are 4 engines on this aircraft. 1, 2, 3, 4. You see the ignition switches here. We're using sys1, so you can start them in any order that you want. So you could go 1, 2, 3, 4, or 4, 3, 2, 1. I tend to do 1, 4, 2, 3. That's just the way that I do it. Okay, so hold the switch down.
Starting engine 1. Starter valve open.
There we go, starter valve open. And we'll come over here. And you see here N1, N2 rotation. As it gets up to 20%, we then put the fuel in, and I'll show you this. I'll do it on the first engine. Whoops. And you'll hear
20% and 2.
20%.
Fuel on.
Fuel on. And now you'll see the engine EGT coming up. Alright. Just turn off those master warning cautions. So there's engine 1 starting. So let's get back to the
starter off.
Starter off, and we'll start engine 4. So
starting engine 4.
Starting engine 4.
Starter valve open.
Starter valve open. So
engine stabilized.
That's engine stabilized 1. So rather than waiting, we'll go back to the throttle here, because all we have to do is wait for the 20% call. See engine 1 stabilized there.
20% and 2. Fuel on.
Fuel on. And you see engine 4
light up.
Starting. Back to the overhead. If I can get there. There we go. We'll start engine.
Starter off. Starting engine 2. Starter valve open. Engine stabilized.
So engine 4 is stabilized. Started 2. Just waiting for that call.
%, and 2.
Whoops.
Fuel on.
Fuel on there, and once again you see, so we've got 1.
Light up.
We've got 1 and 4 stabilized. 2 is coming up perfectly. So back up to the overhead. Sorry for the camera views. Start 3.
Starting engine 3.
Whoops, there we go.
Starting engine 3.
There we go, valve
Starter
open.
valve open. Engine stabilized.
Wait for our 20% call.
%, and 2.
Oops. Sometimes, come on, up you come.
Fuel on.
There you go, fuel on. That was nearly a hot start then. Thought I was going to have to shut it down again. So, and you can see all 4 engines.
Starter off.
Nice and stable. And the starters are off, right? So now We go back
Engine stabilized.
to the engineering panel. We've started the engines, fuel is to idle. Now we need to go to the auxiliary power switches here and close them. There we go. We need to put all packs on. So that one, oops. The vent fans on, gasper fans on, and also the recirculating fans. So that's all about cabin air. Okay. Normal brake source we now close. And then the last thing we need to do is get the galley power on, which is here. So galley power bus 1, 2, 3, 4. And the galley chiller as well. And there we have it. We've now got power, the engines are powering the aircraft, so we can now close the bus ties here. And that is that. The engines are running. Oh, we can now turn off the APU. Stop the APU, we don't need that anymore. And engines are running, everything's fine, nominal. So what we can do now is we can come over here and disconnect the GPU.
Cockpit to ground. Disconnect ground power.
Disconnect to the ground power. And just before, what we should have done right at the beginning actually is turn on the beacon.
Ground power disconnected.
Nav. And there we are. That is your cold and dark start in the 747-200. I'm pretty sure that I could have done that a little bit smoother, not going to so many different screens, but what you saw me do is accurate. That's how you start up the 747-200. Of course, now you need to program your FMC and your autopilots and stuff like that. And will I do tutorials of those? I might do. I'm not quite sure, but for the time being, that is that. Let's just see if there's any chat here. Yeah, Simrace Flight Sim 1000. Hi there, Simrace. Are you excited about XP12? Yeah, if you want me to talk about XP12, I will in a moment. Stefan, good morning. For me, MFS 2020 is dead now. XP12 forever for me. When I want a flight simulator, I want a flight simulator, not a game. I'm gonna say the same thing. I think right from the very beginning, it was obvious that 2020 was more of a game than anything else, and it was really aimed at Xbox users. We could see that right from the beginning, I think, because it was available in Xbox as well, which to me is just a little bit mad. Here we see everything on the aircraft. Engines are running very nicely. So there we have it. I hope you found that useful. It is a complex aircraft. Cold and dark start is the way to go. If I was going to taxi out now, don't forget you need to remove your chocks. Otherwise, you're not going to roll anywhere. I'm surprised Stefan was watching. Maybe he's not flying today. But all right. We'll see you soon. You all take care now. Cheerio, as we say in X-Plane dedicated land. I think it's a beautiful aircraft, this. I just keep looking at it and marvelling. It is wonderful. Fantastic job. Right then, we'll see you soon.